anyone any politician, anyone who signed up for this, who ran to sit in the seat that Eric Adams is in right now, to deflect and immediately imply that someone is racist because she dare ask you a question in an aggressive way, I'll grant him that, in an aggressive way about this very real and serious issue. It's just infuriating. I'm sick of all of it.
All right, guys, so we got to react to the Young Turks. And the reason why we got to react to the Young Turks is because these leftists are actually going after Eric Adams for pulling the most disgusting race card that I've heard in a long time on a white woman at a city meeting, because the white woman dared point at him while asking about why in the world is rent increasing. Okay, she's asking about rent increases that Eric Adams allegedly supports, okay, and why this is happening. Okay, seems to me to be a very reasonable concern, right? The woman has the right to be angry. You're talking about the cost of living going up in what is already a very expensive city, and Eric Adams again decided to pull out the race card and compare her to a plantation owner. Take a look.
Guidelines for it. You said before and after that you supported those rent increases. In Nassau, they had a 0% rent increase. Why in New York City, where the real estate is controlling you, Mr. Mayor, why are we having these horrible rent increases last year and this year?
Okay, first, if you're going to ask a question, don't point at me and don't be disrespectful to me. I'm the mayor of this city, and treat me with the respect I deserve to be treated. I'm speaking to you as an adult. Don't stand in front like you treated someone that's on the plantation that you own. Give me the respect I deserve and engage in a conversation up here in Washington Heights. Treat me with the same level of respect I treat you. So don't be pointing at me. Don't be disrespectful to me. Speak with me as an adult, because I'm a grown man. I walked into this room as a grown man, and I'm going to walk out of this room as a grown man. I answered your question.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen that video because I did a video about it yesterday. This video is a follow-up video because I'm actually pretty happy to report that the Young Turks are rightfully condemning Eric Adams for race hustling, right? For race baiting, for pulling the race card on this woman when she was asking him a 100% legitimate question. And this is fascinating because this is a part of what I'm seeing as an evolution, okay, from the Young Turks. Not necessarily the whole network. The whole network is really Looney Tunes, right? But more specifically, Anna Kasparian, who has been going after the extremists in the left-wing movement because she realizes that the writing is on the wall, right? The writing's on the wall in regards to the fact that the left-wing extremist agenda is not good for people like her. She's going to be hurt in the long term, okay? It's going too far. Like, for example, when it comes to the gender agenda, Anna Kasparian has been called a TERF, a trans-exclusionary radical feminist, right? Because she adheres to biology, right? She doesn't want to be relegated as a woman to a birthing person, okay? Or just a vagina, right? And the left-wing woke revolutionaries attacked her for it, right? They went after her for it, okay? She also pushed back against the far-left green agenda after experiencing what that actually will be like in California, which has a far-left green agenda. And most recently, she pushed back against the race hustlers of America, people like her colleague, Rashard Ritchie, who makes a living trying to demonize and dox and harass white women who they deem to be racist because they act up in public, right? She realizes that the race movement, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, aka racism against whites, again, it's probably not good for a white passing woman like her, okay? And she basically is experiencing what is a social experiment that is backfired on her, okay? Even though she participated in the race hustling, okay? She had participated in a lot of the demonization of people who just simply want society to adhere to biology. Even though she pushes a far left green agenda, when things go too far left, people realize that, hey, this is probably not good, okay? And we have to reel this back in. And I think that that's kind of what is happening here with her reaction to Eric Adams, who again accuses this white woman of basically being a plantation owner, right? Or likening this woman to being a plantation owner simply for questioning him about his job. It's amazing, okay? And what's even more amazing, again, is Anna Kasparian going off. So let's react to this.
I mean, how fragile is your ego? If you can't handle that, you shouldn't be mayor of New York.
So he claims that, he has nothing to do with the decision that was made by the Rent Guidelines Board, that he has absolutely no say. I would venture to say that the mayor of the city could, apply some pressure and look out for the people of New York. But he claims, no, hands off, I have no say in this whatsoever. That's his argument.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how much power Eric Adams has to overrule this rent board, but the members of the rent board are appointed by City Hall, okay? And Eric Adams, I guess technically as the mayor, is in charge of City Hall. So, I mean, I'm assuming he had some power to do something if he really wanted to, right? If he really wanted to. Now, again, we're talking about rent subsidized housing, okay? This is just a way to create some stabilization in the rent prices in New York. And they've been experiencing some extraordinary hikes over the past few years, more so than usual, okay? They usually don't hike it this much. I think they hiked it like 6% or something like that. Usually it's down like 1%, 2%. And people are pissed off about it, right? Because, again, their rent is going up. I think that's a reasonable thing to get pissed off about. But, yeah, I think Eric Adams, as mayor, definitely has the power to do more than what he's letting on here.
Now, I do want to give you some numbers in regard to what Americans are dealing with when it comes to the housing crisis and the unaffordable nature of rent. So this is the highest percentage of New Yorkers facing an affordability crisis in the 23-year history of a study that was done. So according to the study, let's just go back and I'll give you the details on that. There was a study released in April that showed that half of all households in New York don't make enough money to cover basic needs like housing. Okay, so according to the analysis, this is the highest percentage of New Yorkers facing an affordability crisis in the 23-year history of the study, and also marks a significant degradation of life quality since 2021, when the organization's report found that 36% of working age households weren't making ends meet. Listen.
But ain't it crazy, guys, how messed up these liberal cities are? I mean, think about it. Ever since basically the country went super woke after George Floyd, the wokest among us, aka the inner liberal cities, they've suffered the most, right? They've suffered the most. They've went to shit the most, okay? New York City is one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive metropolitan area to live in the United States, okay? I mean, you're talking about $3,500 to rent a little studio apartment, okay? Maybe $7,500 for a 4-bedroom apartment, okay? On average, they're paying about $4,500. That's a lot, right? That's a lot to live in a place that is crime-ridden, that's disgusting, okay, that has high taxes on top of that. I don't understand why anybody would live here, right? Why would anybody live in these places? Which I guess is why people are fleeing these places, why there's a mass exodus from these liberal cities. Again, we didn't even mention the lockdowns, all the other crazy stuff that goes on in these liberal cities. It's just, it blows my mind that anybody lives in any of these areas, right? I really don't understand it. I really don't get it.
People are working their asses off in this country, okay? Working overtime, long hours, barely making enough money to afford housing, okay? They did everything right, they followed all the rules, and they can't even afford to put a roof over their heads. Goddamn right they're angry. And for any politician, anyone who signed up for this, who ran to sit in the seat that Eric Adams is in right now, to deflect and immediately imply that someone is racist because she dare ask you a question in an aggressive way, I'll grant him that, in an aggressive way, about this very real and serious issue, it's just infuriating.
Boy, she's hot, right? Literally. I mean, look at her neck. You see how red her neck is, bruh? You can tell this definitely irks her, right? This is striking a nerve because she knows that she has been a victim of this same type of deflection from criticism, okay? When she, for example, again, simply declared that, hey, I don't want to be referred to as a birthing person, right? I am a woman. Biology matters. She was called a bigot, right? She was called a bigot. The reason why they call her bigot is so that they can silence her, okay? She knows, again, as a white woman, that this is often what people jump to when white women speak out or have issues with things. They say, well, you're a white woman. You can't have an issue with this. If you have an issue with it, you're racist because you're a white woman, right? This is what they do. She knows where this is going, okay? She sees the writing on the wall, and she's standing up against something that, unfortunately, she helped push in our modern politics. It's just amazing to see her take this 180. It really is. It's truly stunning to behold.
I'm sick of all of it.
Oh,
okay,
I know.
I'm sick of these politicians who run for public office, run to be public servants, and end up being anything but.
Yeah.
Well, again, these are all Democrats, right? But this is what y'all support. This is what y'all vote for. Democrats deflect from any criticism by calling people racist, right? You didn't think that that would be turned back around on you, right? You don't think that'd be turned back around on their constituents, their own people, right? Because again, the definition of racist in the Democrat Party in 2023, according to them, is not actually what the real definition is. It's just simply anybody that disagrees with them. Anybody that criticizes them, anybody that disagrees with them is a racist. And honestly, I don't blame the Democrats for doing this to their own people, because their own people are the people that supported Democrats doing this when Democrats were doing it to Republicans and conservatives, right? When Democrats were calling Republicans and conservatives racist just simply for criticizing their policies, people like Anna Kasparian cheered it on, right? They cheered it on. Now that you have the politicians calling their own constituents racist, right? We're talking about people that are in their own party, Democrats racist, for disagreeing with the party. Now, all of a sudden, again, you have people that have issues with this. They see how silly it is for you to pull out the race card in response to criticism. It's amazing. It's amazing. Again, the best way to red pill a leftist is to give them what they want, right? Give them exactly what they want.
So look, a lot of times in my life, I have gotten either subtly or over the top overtly, you don't belong here.
Never. You've never got that, right? That has never happened to you, bro. Right? I'm sorry to tell you, Jake, that has never happened to you. Stop making it up.
Okay, so I know how that feels. I know exactly how that feels. So I have sympathy for that. But if you become an elected representative, you must represent those people. And you must take their criticism. Look, we do a talk show here, and we take your guys' criticism all the time, right? And we deal with it, and we explain it, we agree, we explain the parts we agree and disagree, etc. You can't go around saying, how dare you bring up a perfectly legitimate issue and a critique of me, and then hide behind any issue, but yes, including race.
Well, yes, they can, because you guys told them that they can, right? See, again, that's what really, that's what blows my mind about this. They're now seeing how silly that is because it's been weaponized against them, right? Now they're seeing how silly it is. It's amazing.
And you say, oh, you can't, what do you mean hide behind race? That's outrageous. What do you mean? You think Clarence Thomas didn't hide behind race? When he was accused credibly of sexual harassment, what did he do? The guy who denies that racism exists at all of a sudden called it a high-tech lynching. See, that's hiding behind your race. Okay, so it can happen and it does happen. And I think in this case, Eric Adams did do that.
Can we just, for a second?
This man's all over the place. He just had tried to take a shot at Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas ain't got nothing to do with this. He ain't got nothing to do with this.
Can't acknowledge the power dynamic in this exchange?
Yeah.
He's the mayor of New York City. Let's just consider that power dynamic.
Yeah, but again, according to your ideology, doesn't matter if he's a mayor. He's black. Therefore, he's a victim, right? Therefore, he's a special snowflake that has to be coddled. You got to walk on eggshells when you talk to him because he might get his feelings hurt because he's black, right? You guys, you set the precedent for this, right? You made this happen. You made these people get this victimhood complex to the point where, again, this power dynamic doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Eric Adams is a male, okay, a strong male on top of that, a strong man in terms of physically strong. He looks physically strong, a physically strong male, former NYPD mayor, okay, trying to pretend like there's some type of oppression being done against him because a white woman said things to him in a way that he thought was kind of mean, right? I'm just saying, it's just funny to see the left get so upset about things that they are responsible for.
That's it. Okay, I mean, we're not talking about some rich, privileged white woman who comes across an impoverished black person and yells at him for no reason. This is a powerful man. He is the mayor of the largest city in this country, and she has a legitimate concern and is representing a concern for countless New Yorkers. To brush her off as someone who just sounds like a plantation owner so you don't have to answer the question, pretty gross.
And he didn't. He never answered the question.
Of course
and
he did.
So, look, here.
He doesn't, because he... The reason why is because he knows that he supports it, right? He's totally fine with what they're doing, okay? And again, Democrats don't have to answer questions. Why do Democrats have to answer questions? They don't have to answer questions. Because again, when Republicans ask questions, it's a conspiracy theory, right? You guys are big conspiracy theories. It's out of bounds. It's racist, right? Again, now when they pull that same trick on you, all of a sudden y'all outraged. You're mad. This is hilarious.
Again, I'll use myself as an example, and it's not at all an exaggeration. I've literally had somebody grab me by the elbow and walk me out of a place saying, "You don't belong here."
Why? Because you're trespassing? Give us some context in terms of why, right? You can't say and just imply this is your skin color. Give us some proof that it was your skin color.
Okay, so having said that, if I become the mayor of New York City, I don't get to say that anymore because I have achieved a status of power, and my job is to use that power on behalf of all of the citizens and not to make excuses.
Nah, man, the definition of racism, according to the wokes, okay, because there's a couple definitions on the left. There's a Democrat establishment definition of racism, which is anybody that disagrees with them. And then you have the woke progressive definition of racist, which is racism is a power dynamic. And because Eric Adams is black, he's always perpetually going to be a victim. Doesn't matter how powerful he gets. Doesn't matter if he actually holds a position of power. He is below that white woman because he's black, right? According to the progressive woke definition of racism, okay? According to the left, Trailer Park Bob with the Confederate flag has more power than Barack Obama, okay? Because of his skin color. This is what they think.
And also context matters. Now let me give you the other side of the context. Every mayor of New York City is pointed at and yelled at. I mean, Eric Adams, who is actually a moderate to conservative Democrat.
He's not a moderate to conservative Democrat. In what world is a race hustling, vaccine mandating, illegal immigrant loving? You want to give illegal immigrants the right to vote in his elections, by the way. He's moderate on crime. He ain't tough. He's just moderate, right? He ain't really soft, but he ain't tough. He just moderate. In what world is this person a conservative, right? I'm trying to figure that out. Eric Adams is not conservative. But again, these guys have tried to toss the Overton window all the way to the left, okay? That's what they're doing. They're tossing it. They want to call people like Bill Maher and Elon Musk and people that are not sufficiently woke enough, again, people like Eric Adams, who is very woke, but again, he's not as insane as some Democrats, but again, they want to call people like them moderates. They're conservatives, when it's just simply not the case.
You want to see somebody getting yelled at? Bill de Blasio was yelled at. The former mayor of New York, who is a more progressive Democrat, was yelled at and pointed at 1,000 times, 10,000 times.
Yeah, again, the white man doesn't complain about that, right? The white man doesn't pull the race card and say, you're pointing at me because I'm white. Also on top of that, this same lady also yelled at Bill de Blasio as well too. She brought up the same issue with Bill de Blasio, right? So again, Eric Adams' race had nothing to do with it at all. But again, he wanted to make it racial.
So are mayors of New York yelled at? Hell yeah, they are. I mean, come on, it's comical. It's comical. It's New York City. If you can't handle a constituent and you won't answer a question and you come up with a lame excuse like that, that's embarrassing.
By the way, last week, Eric Adams vetoed a package of 4 bills by the New York City Council that would have expanded the city's rental voucher program. Maybe that's why he immediately went to the race card to essentially avoid having to answer any questions.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, Democrat playbook, standard, right? I'm glad progressives are now speaking out about that. Again, it's not just me, conservatives. I know I'm not crazy when I call this stuff out. Yeah, it's just funny how they only care when it's used against them. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.